Our God is a mighty God. He stands eternal and strong, with power, justice, and truth. Our God is a mighty God. Our God is a mighty
God, I love that song. Gotta love the screaming. Our God is a mighty God. It is Monday, June 15th, 2026. Welcome back to the Two Witnesses Live. I'm your host, Watchful. Let's go through today's top stories with a focus on major developments in the Middle East, U.S. leadership, and global events. Our lead story, President Trump announced a major breakthrough over the weekend. The United States and Iran have reached a preliminary agreement described as a memorandum of understanding to end the conflict that escalated earlier this year. Key elements include reopening the Strait of Hormuz to toll-free commercial shipping, lifting the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports, and implementing a 60-day ceasefire across fronts, including Lebanon. This sets the stage for further negotiations on Iran's nuclear program, sanctions release, and frozen assets. Trump stated the deal is complete and authorized the immediate opening of the strait, saying, "Ships of the world, start your engines, let the oil flow." A formal signing ceremony is expected around June 19th in Switzerland, possibly Geneva. Markets responded positively with falling oil prices. Iran has confirmed aspects of the framework, though full details on nuclear commitments and enforcement are still under discussion. Let's see. This follows months of tensions and strikes. The agreement comes as President Trump is attending the G7 summit in Evian-les-Bains, France, where the Iran deal is a dominant topic alongside Ukraine, trade, AI, governance, and economic issues. Trump arrived after his birthday celebrations and is holding bilateral meetings, including the President Macron. Israel has expressed strong reservations and is not a party to the agreement. Officials, including Defense Minister Israel Katz and National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, have stated that Israel is not bound by the deal, will not withdraw troops from security zones in southern Lebanon, and will continue operations against Hezbollah infrastructure as needed. They emphasize protecting Israeli borders and retaining the ability for preventive strikes. Iranian dissidents and opposition voices have voiced shock, fearing the regime may have gained breathing room without sufficient concessions on nuclear issues, human rights, or proxy activities. Key unresolved points include the fate of Iran's highly enriched uranium stockpiles, limits on enrichment activities, Hezbollah's future, and verification mechanisms. These details are expected to be addressed in the coming 60 days. The situation remains fluid, with potential for rapid changes as talks continue. 60 days here is interesting. These details are expected to be addressed in the coming 60 days. That would put us right around August 12th, which is when we're looking for something to happen. Interesting. The situation remains fluid with potential rapid changes as talks continue. Moving on to Sunday, President Trump celebrated his 80th birthday with an unprecedented event, UFC Freedom 250, held on the White House southern lawn. The spectacle featured fights in a custom octagon attended by thousands and tied to America's 250th anniversary celebrations. It was the first major professional sporting event of its kind at the White House. The G7 summit is underway. So this is the 52nd G7 summit, which continues through June 17 in France. Leaders are discussing the Iran framework, support for Ukraine, trade imbalances, critical minerals, AI safety and governance, global health, including cancer research, and more. The atmosphere includes efforts to bridge divides on trade, tariffs, and burden sharing. In other news, business news, Elon Musk has become the world's first trillionaire following SpaceX's record-breaking IPO. Shares soared on debut, creating thousands of new millionaires among employees and pushing the company's valuation into the trillions. This development has sparked renewed debate on innovation, wealth creation, and economic policy. Let's see. Domestic news. The U.S. Supreme Court is nearing the end of its 2025-2026 term, with major pending decisions expected soon on presidential removal power for certain agency heads, campaign finance rules, mail-in voting standards, transgender athletes in sports, birthright citizenship, and immigration policies. These rulings could have significant impact heading into future elections. The Trump administration has highlighted ongoing efforts to address child trafficking. Officials report that over 475,000 unaccompanied children were trafficked into the U.S. during prior administration, with nearly 300,000 still accounted for as of late 2024. Agencies have located about 146,000 so far and are pursuing prosecutions of traffickers and unvetted sponsors. Welfare checks and enforcement actions continue. In other legal news, a federal judge has ordered the restoration of certain exhibits and materials in national parks and historic sites that were revised under a Trump executive order aimed at removing what officials described as overly divisive or one-sided content. The administration is expected to appeal. All right, just some additional notes. We have Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence recently declassified information on U.S.-funded biolabs. Hillary Clinton has commented on election integrity measures like the Save America Act, which emphasizes proof of citizenship. And in local politics, Spencer Pratt continues to challenge aspects of the Los Angeles leadership. Also, a new patriotic single titled Blessed by Bo Davidson pays tribute to America's service members, available on Real America's Music. Okay, so that covers the major headlines today. These events carry weight as we watch developments unfold on the global stage. If you have any comments or you want to talk about these things, put them in the chat and we'll go ahead and do that today. In the meantime, we're going to switch over to our daily Torment report, where we cover the prophecies and the posts of the two men who are tormenting the world the most right now, Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Through trials faced, through testing days, you've kept my word, walked in my ways. Though strength was small, you held your ground. The door I've opened cannot be bound. They turned away, they closed their eyes, but I have written what none denies. Through fleeting fear and fleeting shame, you stood for truth, upheld my name. Hold fast, your crown is sure. The door I've opened will stand secure. A pillar raised in the temple of my God, forever sealed, forever strong.
All right, picking it up with Donald Trump. What is going on with my head? There we go. Little lighting issues. There you go. Whoa. All right, hang on a minute. I'll be right back. There you go. That fixed it. I turned off I don't normally turn off the overhead light. I didn't realize it was needed for the green screens. All right. How do you guys hear me? This we're trying something new with the AC is cranking right now because it is 110 degrees outside, and normally the studio stays pretty cool, but today it is just such a scorcher. So I've got my gain turned down a little bit more than usual, and I'm talking closer to the microphone. So let me know if I need to adjust the audio at all, or if the AC, which is really loud in the background, is bugging anybody. All right. In the meantime, let's look at Donald Trump's posts. Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Also, the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news, put out by Democrats. President Donald J. Trump. Democrats. This is why he torments people. He, he uses these demeaning references. Like the Democrats, they're acting dumb. I mean, like, what else are you going to call them? Oh, good. Thanks. Sadly, well, it's amazing that the audio is good. Man, I got to give props to this microphone, considering just how loud. I mean, you guys don't want to hear it, but like it is, the AC is like legitimately cranking, probably 3 feet away from me. That's a good microphone. All right. Sadly, if you import people from third world countries, you quickly become a third world country. And there's not a thing you can do about it. Make America great again. President Donald J. Trump. Thank you. Let's see. That's just news articles. Ships are starting to move. Many loaded up with oil out of the Strait of Hormuz. They are going along the southern highway, which is totally safe, secure, and pristine. There are other areas of travel also. President Donald J. Trump. What is this? Is this a report on everything?
Let's bring in Victoria Coates, Vice President of National Security and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. You probably heard Senator Jack Reed talking to Shannon Bream a little bit earlier in the hour. He said this potential deal with Iran that the Trump administration appears ready to sign is not giving us anything that we didn't have under Barack Obama. Your reaction?
Well, good afternoon, John. Good to be with you. Yeah, I think Senator Reid is in a rather difficult position as a card-carrying supporter of the Obama-era Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA, which failed miserably. He's trying to, cover his back here and say, oh, this deal isn't going to be any good because we already had all this with the JCPOA. That is just categorically false. For starters, we don't know what's in this deal. And I think everybody on X should take a deep breath and stop freaking out about a deal we haven't seen yet and, being in a race to be wrong. But let's look at what we do know. We do know President Trump was the only president willing to take major military action against Iran in advance of any negotiations, and to take also major economic action against them to decimate their economy. This gives him leverage President Obama never had in those. And what's more, we're hearing very clearly out of the White House, no cash up front, like the Obama people did, and dismantle the nuclear program. Don't enshrine it in some deal so they can restart it again later. That's what Senator Reid is trying to defend.
But apparently there's going to be some kind of a 60-day negotiating period after the agreement is signed. What's to prevent Iran from, dragging its feet and at the end of 60 days saying, oh, we didn't really mean it. We don't want to do this deal.
I think what happened last week is what prevents that from happening. The additional strikes from the United States, where, as Secretary Hegseth was saying, we can strike whatever we want, whenever we want in Iran. And they know that now. They might not have fully taken that on board before Operation Epic Fury and before the U.S. went back in last week to take out some more, missile launchers, some more radar systems. And we can keep doing that. So it's entirely up to them if they would like to do the sensible thing and actually come to this good deal for the Iranian people, or do they want to just keep on being obstreperous? And I'm hearing a lot of reports about political fracturing inside Iran. It may be we don't have to do that much to push the situation over the edge.
Yeah, so much of their leadership has been decimated. It's kind of hard to know who is in charge right now, but I guess it's the guy who is basically in command of the Revolutionary Guard there.
Yeah, that would be Vahini. And so he controls the guns, and that's a pretty good place to start if you want to be in power in Iran right now. But we also have the new supreme leader who's showing potentially signs of life, Mushtaba Khamenei, the son of the old one. And, the president has been saying that he's somebody we might be able to come to an arrangement with. But my big question tonight, John, is does it even matter what's in this deal? Is Iran...
I thought they had confirmation that Mushtaba had been taken out. Apparently not the case. So much fake news. It's hard to keep up on everything. So I guess potentially Mushtaba is still in play, maybe? Huh.
Too damaged, both in terms of their infrastructure and their economy, to be able to recover regardless of what's in this deal. I think that's a very real possibility. So let's see what comes out. But they have a just world of problems regardless of what's on this piece of paper.
UN Ambassador Michael Waltz, as you might expect, is defending the Trump administration's position here. He says this is way better than any negotiating the Obama administration did. Listen.
Under the JCPOA, under Obama's deal, there was not any time, anywhere verification. They could determine or even delay the inspectors. And most importantly, they could just call a site a military site. And then it was off limits. And number two, you're not going to see these pallets of cash moving up front. It is going to be pay for performance.
So it seems that after 47 years, the Iranians maybe are realizing there's a new sheriff in town.
I think so. And I would add to Ambassador Waltz's list, number three, which is I haven't seen any sunsets on this deal. And if there were any, they would be a whole lot longer than 10 years. Say we had Senator Reid's dream. We'd stayed in the JCPOA. Well, guess what? It expired last year. So that wouldn't even be in effect at this point. That's a non-deal. And so that is not a permanent solution. As Ambassador Waltz was also saying, it didn't get rid of all of this infrastructure. They kept it. And then after President Biden came in 2021, they activated all of those sophisticated centrifuges, and that's when they spun up their highly enriched uranium. So I think what President Trump has done, which is demonstrating overwhelming, devastating military and economic superiority, has given him the leverage to negotiate something meaningful, but also to damage the regime so badly. As I said before, I don't know that they can recover.
We'll see. Victoria Coates from the Heritage Foundation. Thank you. Let's.
Cool. So apparently, yeah, I heard that Mushtaba was injured. I didn't hear that he was fully recovered. I don't remember where I heard it. I heard that they had confirmed that he was dead, but again, it's not something that I'm reporting as news. I just could have swore that's what I heard. So what does that mean? Is he the one they're negotiating with? Hard to know.
So let's bring in two experts, former national security advisor to President Trump, Victoria Coates, and Brent Sadler, a graduate of the Naval Academy and an expert on naval warfare. Welcome to you both. Victoria, we'll start with you. The Strait will be opening for shipping. The blockade is lifted. What is known about other parts of the agreement, in particular sanctions relief and unfreezing assets?
Well, Trey, great to see you, and good to see you too, Brent. What we know about the deal is that it's performance-based, and this is what differentiates it from the JCPOA, the Obama-era nuclear deal, in which they got all of the goodies up front, the sanctions relief, the pallets of cash. Instead, what we're going to do is see if they actually do what they're supposed to do. We're going to open up the Strait. That's very important. And then we're going to start these negotiations on the nuclear deal, which aren't just to limit where they can enrich to, but rather to dismantle that program, to get the highly enriched uranium out. If that all takes place, then great. Yes, we can talk about future incentives for them, but they have to take those steps first. So that's the critical thing here. And I would say this is opening the door to a new Middle East. This is a Middle East under President Trump's leadership where we can have our Gulf allies with Israel come together for a more prosperous, secure region. That wasn't possible 4 months ago. Now it is. And so for all the naysayers, all the deniers, let's see what's actually in the deal. Let's go forward and get to a more positive outcome.
All All right, Brent, a cynic like me, for instance, might argue that this kind of takes us back to the status quo ante, where we were before the recent hostilities. Is there more? Am I missing something? Because before the most recent hostilities, their nuclear program was degraded or obliterated, to use the administration's word. The Strait was open and there was no blockade. So how is this different?
Well, I can understand the cynicism about the Middle East. There's certainly lots of reasons for that. The region is changed fundamentally, and I think what we're seeing now is the beginning of a page of a new era in the Middle East. I mean, it's not going to be smooth, of course, but it's not the same. Of course, Iran is alienated and actually agitated to actually force of arms many of its neighbors, and also rallied in unity with Israel, which was unheard of before, which probably means you're going to see an acceleration and a broadening benefits of things like the Abraham Accords. So the region is fundamentally different now than it was several months ago, and to include even the economics, to say nothing of the global energy markets that are now changed. And it's not going to...
Man, I got to be honest, we're going to need to reevaluate the timeline, because I feel like we're off on the timeline. Like, you know, the thing with seal number 5 is it seems like it's a limbo seal. Like it's a hurry up and wait. You know what I mean? Because the saints under the altar are saying, how much longer, Lord? We could be in seal number 5, but I almost wonder, because of what's going on with Iran, I do think that there's going to be some kind of a nuclear attack. And I think that that's probably going to happen before the pole flip, because it seems like there's two events. It seems like there's an event with the nuclear attack, the movements, the rise of another, kingdom of some kind. But there's also got to be a period. There's got to be enough time for people to be afraid of the pole shifts, because the hiding in the mountains and the bunkers and people saying fall on us for fear of him who sits on the throne. As much as I like the symmetry of the timeline that we've worked on, I think we need to seriously consider. Claire reached out to me. We're currently working on a time to go over her timeline. It'll be interesting to see how she's coming up with the information that she has. We're gonna work out a time and probably do a she's in a different time zone, so it'll probably be a pre-recorded interview. But we're going to talk about her timeline. Maybe we can get some additional insight. But I think probably after the Torment report, we should look at what are some realistic time frames. It's interesting. The 60 days putting us right at August is interesting. So I think something will probably happen on that eclipse, August 12th. It'll either be the opening of seal number 5 if we haven't already opened seal number 5, which that would put us in the Great Tribulation. So that would mean the opening of seal number 5, if it's not a hurry up and wait, if it's a hurry up and wait but a Great Tribulation, meaning like it's so hard to know because there's so much tribulation going on around the world. But if there is some kind of for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction, that could be some kind of a nuclear attack, or that could be the magnetic pole shift. It's just there's too many unknown variables right now, which is just really annoying, not having solid answers on what to expect right now.
Go back to the way it was before.
All right, Victoria, Brent has turned me into something of an optimist with his answer as it relates to the broader region. However, the Iranian regime has been a theocratic, despotic one for 47 years, and thugs don't become good neighbors overnight. Is Iran content stringing things along and waiting for President Trump's term to end, hoping for a different negotiating partner in the future? Or do you think...
It's funny. I think these tactics, these things that are delaying movement on stuff, is so that these things line up with the... it'll be really interesting to see if something happens on August 12th. It would not surprise me at the rate things are going if there's not something major that happens on August 12th.
That they really are desirous of fundamental change.
Well, Trey, I will say, I mean, I don't want to stomp on your sunny optimism, but I mean, yes, we're dealing with the Iranians. And so this regime is bad. They're hostile. They're the death to America, death to Israel crowd. And what makes them the most upset, actually, is the fact of how effective the United States-Israel partnership was during Operation Epic Fury. So for everyone who's trying to point to differences between the United States and Israel tonight, look at that. Look at how seamless that cooperation was and how good it can be going forward. But for what we're going to do with dealing with them going forward, what we have to do is continue to keep the economic pressure on them. And they also know that we can strike them at the time of our choice in the place of our choice. So this isn't going to happen out of the goodness of their hearts because they don't have hearts. So this is going to happen because they're scared about more of those strikes that the president called in last week. That can happen anytime. And so that's how we keep the pressure on them. We make sure they make good on this nuclear deal because that's the basic line here. No nuclear weapons for Iran.
All right, Brent, is there a material difference between giving Iran cash and giving Iran access to frozen assets and allowing it to make money from selling oil? If they're going to use the money for nefarious purposes, I mean, does it matter where they get the money from and what we call it?
Well, there's a big difference between pallets of cash on an aircraft that shows up and then disappears into wherever nefarious purpose, then financial flows that you can actually monitor and also control. So on its surface, there's that. But again, the devil's in the details. We'll see when the actual agreement is hopefully released on Friday after the next phase of this is reached, and we'll be able to look at a lot closer what we're talking about on finances.
All right, we got about 30 seconds, so I'm going to get you both to quickly answer this question. Victoria, you, and then Brent. Any chance in the world Israel is upset and tries to do something to upend this agreement? Victoria, then you, Brent.
I'd be shocked, Brent. I mean, Trey, rather. I think that Israel wants to get to peace in the region.
Well, thank you for calling me. That's the nicest thing anyone's called me. You go ahead, Brent.
No, I agree with that. There's very little reason to expect anything like that. The U.S. and Israel are aligned very closely in national security and national interest.
So let's bring in.
Yeah. Remind me if I forget to review Ezekiel 39. I think that's where it talks about the potential nuclear blast. All right. Under the disastrous open border policy of crooked Joe Biden and his traitorous DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, tens of millions of criminals, including over 13,000 stone-cold murderers, poured into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums. Needless to say, they were not always the safest drivers. Car insurance premiums rose to record highs, forcing law-abiding American citizens to subsidize the free riding. Biden illegals. After over a year of zero illegal immigration and our highly successful efforts to reverse the Biden invasion, car insurance premiums have come tumbling down. Wow, is that just like completely random? Is that an ad? That seems like an ad. It's not an ad. That's legit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Car insurance premiums did skyrocket. Wow. President Trump is bringing down the cost of car insurance. Huh. Yeah. I think you're right, Fury. They only see through a Western lens. Through a Middle Eastern lens, Iran sees a victory. The West sees strength. Iran sees weakness and will exploit it in their minds. We are not on the same page. Agreed. This is such a weird post. He starts off with the criminal illegal immigrants. Tens of millions of criminals, over 13,000 stolen cold murders poured into our country. Needless to say, they're not always the safest drivers. What the? Car insurance premiums rose to record highs. Is that what it was due to? 13,000 murderers? I have serious questions about this post. I mean, don't get me wrong. Insurance did skyrocket. My insurance doubled. Ugh. Wow. Well, it'd be great if it goes back down. On July 4th, at the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument in beautiful and safe Washington, D.C., they're going to host the most spectacular Trump rally of them all, Tribute to America, starting at 7 p.m. Did this already happen? I think. Oh, no, this is on for July 4th. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this huge celebration will honor our country's people, spirit, strength, resolve, and triumphs. With the backdrop of Lincoln Memorial and surrounding the beautifully new reflecting pool, with more than 300 members of our strong and talented military band, orchestras, and ceremonial units. We'll perform patriotic melodies and American classics and my playlists. We will have none of those people that put you to sleep and constantly complain. As we celebrate our country and rally into the next 250 years, this ensemble will be the largest formation of joint military music and ceremonial performances in history. There will be incredible flyovers and air shows featuring our top military pilots and equipment, and I will deliver keynote remarks that you will not want to miss to conclude the program and commemorate this historic occasion. I will be launching what will be the largest fireworks show in history right here in our nation's capital. Do not miss it. See you July 4th. Cool. Wednesday, June 24th will be the kickoff of our summer-long celebration of 250 years of American independence. Come and enjoy a night filled with beautiful music from our talented U.S. Army and Marine Corps military bands. Only the hits that you know and love. The highly gifted Christopher Macchio and our friend Lee Greenwood performing the greatest hits of all time. God bless the USA. You will also bear witness to impressive military flyovers featuring precision fighter jets and stealth bombers, which will be flown by our U.S. military pilots, who have proven to be the most elite pilots anywhere in the world. This patriotic tribute will take place on the main stage at the Freedom 250 Great American State Fair, located on our majestic National Mall in what is now one of the safest cities in the world, Washington, D.C., which we are beautifying to levels never seen before. See you at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, June 24th. Gonna have fun and celebrate America. A lot of plans. I was actually called away this weekend. I had to go visit somebody unscheduled to help him out, and I ended up missing this. I was really bummed. We need to talk about this because we're gonna probably watch a video from Tim Pool, because there's one of what I think is the first reference to Donald Trump potential. And this sounds weird, but when you hear Tim Pool talk about it, we have some things to talk about. This may be the first instance where Donald Trump might have controlled the weather. And normally I wouldn't say that, but it was such a weird thing that happened. I started getting these videos of people talking about the weather and the color of the clouds, and something weird was happening. It gave off the essence of supernatural. And we're going to talk about it after we're done with the Daily Torment Report. But the UFC at the White House last night was incredible. The weather was scheduled to be horrendous, and it turned out to be perfect. So much for weather predicting. The fighters were outstanding. Bo Nickel, Justin Gaeth, Cyril Gain, Sean O'Malley, Josh Hockett, Mauricio Rufy, Diego Lopez were all unbelievable. Most people have never seen anything like that kind of human speed and power before. The White House has never looked so beautiful. The setting was unsurpassed. Congratulations to Dana White and his unbelievable UFC. One of the most exciting days in history of our fabled White House, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, I know there were some people that were super excited that the weather was scheduled to be horrendous and really upset when it wasn't. This might be one of the first indications of him. Oh man, I'm so tempted to get into it right now, but we've got to finish going through his posts. We'll look at the two witnesses when we and controlling the weather. It's a bizarre thing to think about, but this might be like the first indication. There might be more. I don't know. What constitutes stopping the rain? You know, because that's what Elijah did. Such a weird time we're living in right now. All right. Eric Metaxas, a great guy, has written an incredible new book, Revolution, the Birth of the Greatest Nation in the History of the World. As we celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, Eric honors the faith, wisdom, and courage of the great patriots who sacrificed so much to secure our independence. These stories of our shared past inspire us to build a future bigger, greater, and stronger than ever before. The best is yet to come. The birth of the greatest nation. Cool. Let's see. The Democrats want FISA because that's what they used to go after me for 3 years during my first term. I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act, full version, firmly attached to it. Make America great again. You guys know about the great. I don't need to read that. Everybody knows what's in the Save America Act right now. Congressman Barry Moore, an American patriot who has been with me from the very beginning. He has, let's see, is this an endorsement? Complete and total endorsement, indeed. All right, let's get through the endorsements. Always so many endorsements. Under the disastrous open border policy of crooked Joe Biden and his traitorous DHS secretary. Okay, this is the weird insurance post. I don't get this one. It's so bizarre to connect the 13,000 murderers with the rising insurance premiums. Okay. All right. I feel like we've gone backwards. These are all copies. Yeah. Oh, I heard about this flyover. It was awesome to see. Very cool. This great deal will bring peace and security. Oh! For when they say peace and safety. We keep hearing peace and security. That's not the first time. This great deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran, and all have failed before me. The leaders of the region have, for the first time, found a president who can help them achieve real peace. With the opening of the strait, upon the signing of the deal on Friday, for purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world. President Donald J. Trump. Let's see. The deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines, let the oil flow. You know, that's one thing that's really cool about President Trump is he doesn't get bogged down by things. Like when he sets his mind to something, it either is accomplished very quickly or it doesn't drag on like other administrations. Like other administrations, I feel like even a small handful of what Trump has accomplished would have blocked them up for their entire administration. Like if this had happened not that this would happen under the Biden administration or the Obama administration, I would fully expect this thing to last 4 years. But no, here we are, a couple months in, opening her up. Although there is still that 60-day window of negotiations that we got to keep watching. I don't think that's a coincidence. Also, I don't think oops, apparently stupid ads. Really? They got me. Where was I? Also, I don't think this is a coincidence. The peace and security. It's awfully close for when they say peace and safety. But you have to ask yourself, like, from a translation perspective, what all variations of that could it mean? I guess when it happens, we'll know for when they say peace and safety. Then sudden destruction. As soon as there's sudden destruction, we'll know what the right translation is. It's almost like the events as they're fulfilled act like a Rosetta Stone to know what the original meant or said. Anyway, the deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. Okay, we read that. Victoria Coates of the Heritage Foundation is absolutely fantastic. She gets it like few others do. Thank you, Victoria. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and the Strait of Hormuz will be opening up for business very shortly. Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat from Rhode Island, lied when he stated that the deal we just made is not as good as the Obama disaster known as the JCPOA. Reed is either an outright fraud or incompetent. The Obama deal was a road to a nuclear weapon for Iran, cash and all. One of the worst and dumbest, hence Democrats, deals ever made by the U.S. Our deal is a wall against Iran ever having a nuclear weapon. The complete opposite of Obama. Impeach Jack Reed. What do they have to be afraid of? Republicans are moving too fast on nominations. Says Intel community terrified of showing information to Bill Pulte. Why are the Democrats so afraid of Bill Pulte at DNI? He would only be acting. What do they have to be afraid of? What are they hiding? There must be something big, mustn't there? President Donald J. Trump. If you Democrats are against FISA with or without Bill Pulte going to DNI as acting, what kind of a deal is that? Besides, I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act, full version, firmly attached to it. Make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump.
Happy birthday, President Trump. The president celebrating a milestone birthday this morning. The president was born 80 years ago today at 10:54 a.m. Eastern at Jamaica Hospital in Queens, New York. President Trump's birthday today is celebrating that this morning and all day, turning 80 years old today. We wish the president a happy birthday. What an incredible American dream he has led. Happy birthday, President Trump.
Wow. More endorsements. Thank you, Michael. The Democrat weaponized government at levels never before seen, and you survived it all. You should pay they should pay the ultimate price for what they have done. President Donald J. Trump. Let's see. This morning's attack on Beirut should not have happened, particularly on a special day when we are so close to a peace deal with Iran. Israel has the right to defend itself against threats, but the attack it was responding to was very small and meaningless. Nobody was hurt, injured, or killed, and should not disrupt this important process. We are very close to a deal that will bring peace to the region, including to Lebanon, and all sides should stand down. There should be no more attacks by Israel anywhere in Lebanon. But there should also be no more attacks by any other party, including Hezbollah, against Israel. This could be the beginning of a long and beautiful peace. Let's not blow it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Indeed. Endorsement. So congratulations to Jim Dolan and the New York Knicks. What a year it has been. But even more so, what an incredible playoff wins we have all witnessed, especially the last four. Maybe the greatest in history of basketball. Also tonight, a superstar was born. His name is Jalen Brunson. And there are others, including Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and great patriot Mitchell Robinson. Make America great again. Years ago, after saving the women skating rink in Central Park, saving the Woolman skating rink in Central Park, long before I fixed the reflecting pool and everything else in Washington, D.C., including, most importantly, crime. Oh, that was just a picture of him at the rink. Woolman. The Woolman rink. Real estate upheaval, how to profit from today's new market as homeowner, manager, and investor. High roller Donald Trump says he'll make a killing despite tax reform. When was that? That was in 1986. 1986. I actually remember 1986. I do remember 1986. There were certain things that happened that year that will stick in my brain forever. Commander-in-Chief, you're getting discombobulated. I am pleased to announce my intent to appoint James M. McDonald as United States attorney for the Southern District of New York. I think we read this. Did we already see these? I don't remember this one. The Obama Library 10 years from now will be a mecca for those who hate America. That's terrible. Barack Hussein Obama's deal with Iran, the JCPOA, was an easy, beautiful, smooth road to a nuclear weapon, which Iran would have had 6 years ago and would have used long before now. My agreement with Iran is the exact opposite, a wall to no nuclear weapon. In fact, they no longer want a nuclear weapon, nor will they have one. They got to be lying. Either through purchase, development, or any other form of procurement. The deal is scheduled to get signed tomorrow, and immediately after it is signed, the Hormuz Strait is open to all. Our relationship with Iran is a much different and better one than previous administrations have had. Unlike Obama's hundreds of billions of dollars in payments to them, including $1.7 billion in green cold cash, no money will exchange hands. At this appropriate time, when all is calm, we will go in and get the nuclear dusts buried deep under the powerful sunken granite mountains, thanks to our beautiful B-2 bombers and their brilliant pilots, and downblend and destroy it, whether in Iran or the United States. We look forward to working with Iran and the entire Middle East long into the future. Hopefully this process will all work out quickly, easily, and smoothly. If it doesn't, we have the ultimate alternative, hopefully never to be used again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Congratulations to Team USA on their big win, 4-1 over a very good Paraguay team. Keep it going. We are closer to a peace deal than ever before, with finalization likely expected in the next 24 hours. This is a problem with reading older posts. It's just like, we already read that they signed it. All right, we don't really need to read these, do we? What's this? Texas GOP?
He is a man of God. He is a father. He is a
State Republican Convention, Houston, Texas. The State Republican Convention is important, not only to the state, but also the nation, whereby we as conservative Republicans, capitalists who believe in our country, who believe in our military, who believe in freedom, come together as a party to talk about the things that will sustain our future of our schools, our families, and our opportunity to make America the greatest nation in the world. I am so proud as the congressman from the 17th district to know that we make a difference. We make a difference to families, to our communities where we live in, and to the state. And I want to thank the patriots who have come to Houston, Texas for the state Republican convention to make sure that we work together, we sell the fight, and remember, we have not gotten tired of winning.
Okay. Cool. At my direction, the United States Southern Command delivered a swift, lethal kinetic strike to successfully execute Nino Guerrero, the infamous leader of Tren de Aragua, one of the most bloodthirsty terrorist organizations on planet Earth. Before I returned to office, Joe Biden opened our southern border to millions of illegal criminals and allowed this foreign army to rape, maim, and murder American citizens with total impunity. During my campaign, I pledged to expel these monsters from our country and bring justice to the families of those they slaughtered, including the precious 12-year-old Jocelyn Dungare, 22-year-old Laken Riley, and countless other beautiful souls. With this action, the United States military has brought retribution for them, their families, and their loved ones. Early in my administration, I delivered on my promise to designate Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization, deport thousands of evil criminals, and wage war against the cartels who have long been waging war against our citizens. While weak leaders left America helpless and defenseless, this action was coordinated closely by our friends in Venezuela, with whom we are working very well. As a result, Tren de Aragua terrorists no longer have safe haven in Venezuela or anywhere else, and under my leadership, we will find these vicious murderers and drug lords anytime, any place, and send them to the depths of hell where they belong. God bless America. Oh, is this him blowing it up? Bye-bye. Sunday night during the historic 250. Let's see, we already watched that. I think this is where, yep, that's where we left off. All right, good timing. Let's move on to Elon Musk. See what he's getting up to these days. Oh boy. All right, make our sun sentient. What? Make our sun sentient to understand the universe and extend the light of consciousness to the stars. Oh, make our sun sentient. SpaceX and the sentient sun. Elon Musk's compensation package at SpaceX is structured around two targets. The first award, let's see, how long is this? Very long. I'll read this and come back to you on it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I wonder if I can have Grok summarize. Oh. Can I not ask it to? Oh yeah. Can you summarize? Core thesis. The article frames SpaceX not just as a rocket company. Oh, that's better. But as a foundational infrastructure for a grand long-term vision building towards a Lane M. Banks culture-style future, a post-scarcity multiplanetary civilization with superintelligent AI minds, orbital habitats, and humanity harnessing stellar energy to propagate consciousness across the stars. This ties directly to SpaceX's updated mission, post-XAI merger, Scaling to make a sentient sun to understand the universe and extend the light of consciousness to the stars. Musk's compensation package. Elon Musk's pay at SpaceX is an all or nothing and tied to two ambitious milestones. Mars goal, company valuation of $7.5 trillion plus a self-sustaining permanent colony of at least 1 million people on Mars. Good Lord. That's a lofty goal. Orbital AI goal, space-based data centers drawing 100 terawatts of power, over 1,000 times current global data center consumption. If unmet, he gets only his $54,000 base salary. The board approved this based on Musk's history of delivering on impossible predictions. That is true. He does seem to have a habit of delivering the impossible. Key building blocks, working backwards from the future. Mars City, self-sustaining manufacturing for everything, food, air, machines, people, requires thousands of Starship flights during narrow 26-month transfer windows. Moon as a stepping stone, factories using lunar resources, silicon, aluminum, regolith, plus mass drivers to launch solar-powered AI satellites into space at scale. Orbital data centers, the big AI play. Space solar provides 4 to 10 times more consistent power. No atmosphere, no night, no weather. In about 5 years, SpaceX aims to launch more AI compute annually than Earth's total installed base. This is why SpaceX merged with XAI. You know, all of this points to the stuff like the stars falling from heaven like a fig tree when it's shaken by a mighty wind. Like, it cannot be a coincidence that you've got one of the two guys that is one of the potential two witnesses. He's launching millions of tons of stuff into our atmosphere. Some of that stuff has got to fall down when the Earth rotates. I'm just saying. Oh, shoot. That reminds me. I came across another video of a better illustration. Yes, let me go find this video before I forget. I wanted to show this to you guys. I stumbled across this with the Y-Files. He's got a really amazing animation of the Earth rotation. Y-Files. And it's called something like the CIA has known about the end for a long time or something like that. CIA has known about how the world ends. Where is it? My feed has been trying to get me to watch this video forever, and I finally watched it, and it's all about the magnetic pole shift. And he's got some really cool illustrations in there. Maybe if I search for End of the World. Book about the pole. Okay. Is this it? Yeah. It's CIA classified book about pole shift, mass extinctions, and the true Adam and Eve story. Yes, this is it. We must watch some of this too if we have time. I don't know if we're going to have time because it took us an hour to get through Donald Trump. It's probably going to take us the same amount of time. Probably going to take us the same amount of time to get through Elon, but we'll see. We only really need to see the illustrations that he has in the video. It's a really... I don't even know if I watched the whole thing. I started watching it, and then I got called away to help somebody. All right, let's continue reading this summary. Moon is a stepping stone. Factories using lunar resources, silicon, aluminum, regolith. Is that what they've determined is on the moon? That's all you need to make solar panels and electronics. Mass drivers to launch solar-powered AI satellites into space at scale. The big AI play. Space solar provides 4 to 10 times... Okay, we already read all that. Enablers. Starship, fully reusable, aims for 100 to 500 kilograms to orbit versus historical 18 kilograms. Largest, most powerful rocket ever. Starlink is the cash engine. 11.4 billion in revenue in 2025. 60% margins, 10 million subscribers, funds the vision. Falcon 9 proven workhorse, 83% of global launches in 2025. Hundreds of reuses. Okay. This piece recounts Musk's... Okay, we don't need to read about that. How do I get back? There we go. Okay, cool. All right, what else you got to say? Translated from German, ZDF has reacted in the description of the program. It now states the wording. Is this in English?
Da lief dieses ZDF-Infomagazin und ganz...
Nope. It now states the wording at the beginning. Musk had called for a hunt on migrants. Was imprecise and therefore misleading. Always these misunderstandings. You know them from Charlie Kirk. Toby Lutke. This is the point. Same will happen in all countries that make social media age restrictions. Won't someone think of the children is usually not about the children. See, just in, the UK government clarifies adults will still be able to use social media by verifying their identities with digital ID, facial recognition, passports, and credit cards. This is the point. Same will happen in all countries that will make social media age restrictions. Won't someone think of the children is usually not about the children. They always use defensible excuses for the indefensible. Yes. Yeah, see, these, so this is, I believe this is also has to do with laws that are coming into effect in the United States, similar laws to where they're using these excuses to protect the children. So they're making it a law that companies have to verify age. The problem is well, I mean, there are definitely some companies that are abusing the age thing. But I'm trying to think, what do I think about this? I do think that it is appropriate to verify age. I don't think it's appropriate to make it a law, because it seems to me like it's enforcing these IDs and digital identities. Facial recognition, passports. I think you can do this easily enough by just requiring like a credit card or something like that, to where if you're not able to provide an ID, like a driver's license, we have, it's called KYC, Know Your Customer. We already have a very vast KYC system to verify that people are who they say they are and their age. I don't like this being enforced as a law. Seems to me like a gateway. They always use defensible excuses for the indefensible. Remember this, in order for someone to strip your rights, privacy, they must have a suitable moral justification. The latest moral justification is child protection. The reason this works is because child protection is obviously important and necessary. Only a monster wouldn't want children protected. So under this guise, this moral shield, they can strip freedoms from you and push towards their actual objective, which is complete and total surveillance and control over global dialogue and communication. The ability to dehuman, censor, and utterly eliminate anyone who dissents. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, your voice silenced and snuffed to the wind. Excuse me. Total mastery of the game board. Highly doubt it. There is a global push for maximally surveilled, de-anonymized internet. This is true. They are doing it under the guise of child safety, which is real and important because it provides moral cover and a real objective, which is complete narrative and control and censorship. See, this is another reason why I think Elon Musk and Donald Trump are the two witnesses, because they're pointing these things out. That, like, they're drawing attention to the rise of that beast from the land. Like, we can see the elements of the enforcement of the mark of the beast in this. Like, this is the gateway to the mark of the beasts by de-anonymizing the internet. You're not going to be able to buy or sell without taking the mark of the beasts. Polymarket just in. The Tesla Robotaxi Tesla Robotaxi has recorded 0 at-fault incidents since February, according to newly released NHTSA data. We use full self-driving almost, I'd say 95% of the time. The only time we don't use it is when it's parking, because we don't like the way it picks parking spots. It tends to go towards the biggest open parking spots that are about as far away from the entrance as you can get. Other than that, though, it is pretty amazing. I cannot praise Tesla and full self-driving enough. If you don't have a Tesla with full self-driving, you are missing out on a delightful experience. And they're pretty cheap. I mean, like, you can buy a used Tesla for, $10,000 to $20,000. You can buy a brand new Tesla for under $40,000. Like if you wanted a Model 3 or Model Y. So, pick what you can afford. Teslas are amazing. Very safe cars too. Like per mile driven, they're so safe that new insurance companies are springing up that will. So there's a new insurance company called Lemonade. I know it's a weird name, but they the way they charge you, because Teslas are so safe, is they have like a base rate for the Tesla that you have. So it's like it's like $30, I think, is the base rate per month, and then you pay per mile driven. It's like either like a half a cent or 1 cent, something like that. And if you're in one of the newer Teslas, if you use full self-driving 70% of the time, they give you a 50% discount on your insurance. So you can end up paying like $30 for your insurance, or, pretty cheap, depending on how much you drive. If you drive a ton, it's still gonna be dirt cheap anyway. But yeah, I can't remember. I think it's like for this 6 billion. Is it 6 billion miles driven? Mile per mile, Teslas have the highest safety record of any vehicle. Anyway, moving on. The purpose is not to remove young people from the internet. The purpose is to remove anonymity from the internet in a country where the government routinely punishes dissent with jail. The British Caliphate is no longer free. The British Caliphate. That is hilarious. Elon says exactly. The freak out by those on the left subsidized by taxpayer funds over OMB's update on the regulation governing federal grant making tells you how important it is to keep the bureaucracies from leaking out spending that is woke, wasteful, and contra to the policies of the Trump administration through NGOs. There's a lot of words in there, but I'm having a hard time understanding what the freak out by those on the left subsidized by taxpayer funds over OMB. So federal funding, the OMB rule proposed that's got nonprofits talking. Freak out by those on the left. Update of the regulation governing federally grants making. It's like it's just too smart for me. Important to keep bureaucracies from leaking out spending that is woke, wasteful, and contrary to the policies of Trump administrations. I have no idea what this is saying. I feel like there's like an article behind this that we probably need to read to understand it. I don't think it's worth it. Tesla American made. Tesla vehicles are the most American made by parts produced and sourced in the USA. Building cars in America drives innovation and fuels domestic supply chains. In Fremont, California, Ambassador Greer toured Tesla's manufacturing hub for Model 3 and Model Y and advanced robotics. Very cool. Tesla vehicles are the most American made. By the way, even China and Iran don't do this. Only North Korea does this. UK advances proposal to force Apple, Google, Signal, and other platforms to scan private content on users' devices. Executives could face prison if they refuse. Wow, the UK is taking a page from the North Korea book. The UK arrests people over retweet. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? The UK arrests people over retweets. UK free speech crackdown sees up to 30 people a day arrested for petty offenses, such as retweets and cartoons. Maybe we are in the Great Tribulation. Maybe. It does say they will throw some of you in jail. This is nuts, man. Rockets and spaceship taking us to Mars is an inspiring future. Falcon 9 launches 24 Starlink satellites from California. The scale of what to come has no precedence. To get a sense of scale, here's how the $85.7 billion SpaceX just raised compares to what they've historically spent on different programs. People aren't ready for the magnitude of things to come. Wow. That's how much they raised? Oh. Good on them. Nice. Mars, here we come. UK government clarifies adults will still be able to use social media by verifying their identities with digital IDs, facial recognition, passports, and credit cards. LMAO. And there's the plan right there. Laid bare in your face. Create the problem. Stranger danger. Sell the solution. More authoritative surveillance state. Repeat forever. Everyone owes conspiracy theorists an apology who have been screaming about this for years. Right? All right. It is not see from Victoria. It's not happening. It's right-wing conspiracy theory. It may be this is the progression of things. It's happening and it's good. Yeah. But for some reason, ID is banned for voting in California, New York, and many other states. Funny how that works, ain't it? It's important to know that the social media ban for under 16s is not a ban for under 16s. It is a ban on selected social media for everyone until you identify yourself. This censorship law is a wolf in sheep's clothing. The real goal is to enable the UK government to track everyone. Indeed. Exposed. UK government has a thought police unit to control mass migration narrative. Zero hedge. Unreal amount of investment to scam people into supporting mass migration. What a shame. UK government clarifies. Let's see. Are we in a thread? It feels like we're in a thread. Nope. Alex Soros is interesting because he's a billionaire's heir who dedicates his life to making cities less safe. He's like a reverse Batman. What is this?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
God, that must have been amazing to be there. That was really nice. That must have been utterly amazing. What do we have here? This is what I do. I play
POV, me getting killed by a 17-year-old.
How the f*** did you shoot those things?
Does anybody have any Tylenol?
You want some like Ativan or something, bro? So let's speak to that a little bit. Obviously, this thing's unloaded, so it's going to be cruising at a higher speed. So you're not able to do quite all those maneuvers, but orbits, that type of thing, is that possible?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Circling your target is a very common thing that you'll see. Even a lot of the drone footage that's coming out of Ukraine these days. I mean, that's how you find targets. Generally, the SOP is find it with an ISR drone, like a Mavic, a Matrice 30T, and then go hunter-killer with one of these things. So,
well, I guess there's nothing left to do but hop in the trench and see how we do with the shotgun to start.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so now we're in the trench. We're going to try this first with shotguns. I know there's some things you want to speak to really quickly.
Yeah, I know you guys saw in a previous video, kind of Mike and I talking about some SOPs as we're moving through a tree line. Obviously, we were highlighting cover and concealment. In this instance, it's a little bit different as we are in a simulated friendly position. So, cover and concealment and stealth isn't as much of a priority. The kind of test we're going to be showing here now is going to be, if you're in a friendly position, you have friendlies in the trench, there's nobody else around you that's op 4. And so what you kind of do, you refer to it as a submarine call. It's called in the military where, a message is relayed back and forth. So all accountability is taken throughout the trench. So I'll call out drone, or if Mike sees the drone first, he'll call out drone, and I will repeat that command back to him just to make sure that we have kind of all hands on deck, that there's a situation in the air.
Cool. Well, there's nothing like the now. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Drone. Drone.
There's no way they're going to hit it.
Follow my gun. It's in front of my muzzle. Malfunction? Or am I out? Oh, I'm out.
Wait, can everybody pause war for a second?
Guys, time it out.
Drone. There's right.
Oh, fucker. Yeah, there's no way they're going to hit that. You would need you would almost need a special kind of bird shot with a bigger shotgun.
It's so fucking hard. Drone. Drone.
Because they can move so fast.
There's right. That's him. And we're dead.
And we're dead as fuck.
Okay, so we've been killed every time so far. And let's give the drone round a try. Okay, so with the drones and shotguns, very difficult. The problem is that you don't always know what rounds you're getting. So we're using birdshot in this case, and we actually did strike the drone a few times. So like we hit the battery, but it just wasn't doing enough damage. The pellets weren't damaging enough. I think you heard it hit the propellers, and it kind of did that fluttering noise.
Yep.
They're amazingly resilient. I mean, I've crashed my drone so many times and had like bent propellers and still been able to fly it. You've got they're quadcopters. They've got 4 propellers on them in order to move that fast. And like, we've got them down to where they're just like the size of a quarter almost. Obviously, you're not going to put a payload on something the size of a quarter, but the ones that they're putting payloads on and they're using in war, I don't know, they're probably the size of a book, of a standard book, maybe a little bit bigger, depending on how much payload that they want to put on them. But those things they move very fast, and they're incredibly resilient. Like I'd say over the last 7 years, we've perfected making them crash proof and as resilient as possible. So like, you're going to need a very special kind of round. I don't even know if you would need some kind of like massive bird shot with a lot of power behind it in order to take it down. Because what you would want is you'd want spread. You want to cover the entire sky with high moving pellets. And even still, you're going to have a hard time taking out a drone with one of those.
But we weren't just able to do enough damage. And on top of that, we could see it further out, but we have a little dip here. And once it dipped down, by the time it came up on us, it was like 15 meters away. So with this, we should be able to engage it out further. And I think these are going to be much stronger in impact. And I think we'll be able to take the drone down, hopefully. And we'll see how it works. So
it's almost like they need an Iron Dome for drones, something that can track and launch something that is as fast as the drones that can intercept them in order to have a really good defense against them. They're just that fast.
Let's go round 2 with the drone round. Do you think that, the French were like, oh, longbows made warfare gay? And then now we're here, we're like, oh, drones.
Same. Just like you remember, like knights were getting schwacked by peasants with crossbows. It's just the same shit.
Yeah, the injustice of it.
Think of the cost of all the training, all the munition, all the equipment on like a typical SF soldier, tier 2, tier 1, whatever.
Yeah.
And you think of the cost of that, like the force multiplication is so disgusting.
I'm worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm worth about $6.
Go!
Full auto.
Run! It's coming.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Ooh.
So it's got to be like a full auto. Like
Beautiful. Take that.
Almost like a
fucking drones.
So is it like full auto birdshot with like a higher capacity? I could see how that could be a. Still though, I wouldn't want to risk it though, because you see how hard it was for him to track and shoot that thing. You've got such a narrow window. Man, time to get that volcano lair I've always wanted. What? If this works, I'm treating myself to a volcano lair. It's time. Oh my God, this is good. Time to get that volcano lair. I think it's in the beyond section of BB&B. What the hell? Oh my God. See, the second you reach for the words ban, stop, or eliminate as your policy, you're on the wrong side of history. Shape the technology towards the goal. Don't try to outlaw the future. SpaceX closed its first day of trading at 2.1 trillion plus 19%. Everyone's looking at the number. No one's looking at what it's actually pricing. Let me tell you what the market just bought and why I think this company will be worth 30 to 50 trillion in 5 years. Good Lord. It's insane. Interesting analysis. New Tesla supercharger in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 12th Street Northwest. Cool. Yeah, Fury. If you could get a radar tracking system with that round in it, that'd be a hell of a drone defense right there. That'd be comparable to like an Iron Dome. Elon Musk's companies employ roughly 170,000 people. AOC drove Amazon out of New York, killing 40,000 jobs. One creates, the other destroys. They are not the same. Okay, I take it somebody compared to Elon to AOC. Yeah, whatever. Elon Musk is not stealing from you. Gavin Newsom is stealing from you. Karen Bass is stealing from you. Tim Walz is stealing from you. Elizabeth Warren is stealing from you. AOC is stealing from you. Becoming wealthy does not make you evil. The people who take from you, promising to fix problems and then enriching themselves while trying to get you to hate those they're taking the money from, are evil. Oh, I get it now. Yeah, that makes sense. There are many good X articles lately, some superb, intellectual, and honest. They are 1,000 times better than opinion columns in newspapers. X is the group chat of humanity. We are at 0.0115% of our mission before Type 1 civilization is complete. On an astronomical scale, the bar chart barely registers against the Stone Age. Indeed.
When we see these satellites actually go to space and be able to engage in that AI compute, does it disrupt all of the trillions of dollars potentially that's going into the AI infrastructure here on Earth? Does it render it obsolete?
No, I think you'll need both, actually, but hopefully the massive growth area will be AI in space. I don't think people are making a mistake by building data centers on the planet right now. I'm making a mistake from the perspective that you're not going to need that compute.
Yeah, that's always a big fallacy in business is people stop doing what's needed to get the job done in order for something in the future. Don't make that mistake.
Certainly going to need that compute, but I think the growth in compute will far outpace.
It's like the people who it's like these idiots in government who want to ban all gasoline engines and cause the world to switch over to electric. Even Elon Musk wasn't stupid enough to do that, and he even went so far as saying if he had a button to completely convert the world to electric, in a single day, he wouldn't push it because there has to be a transition period.
In space than it will here on
Same thing
on
for
planet
AI.
Earth.
And of course, SpaceX and under the hood within the AI business, AI specifically is seeing a big ramp in CapEx as well amidst all of this. So how to think about that trajectory and that spend?
So, luckily, the Starship program has a huge amount of capital expense as well. I think if I were to go back to the penurious days of Falcon 9 and Dragon, and we were to talk about the capital investment for that program compared to what we're doing in AI, it would be a total mind blow situation. But Starship is also the investment required. We're building our own natural gas pipelines. We're actually looking at basically mining our own natural gas. So these huge investments to develop our own propellant and bring it to the rocket. Launch sites are quite expensive. I think you got a tour of our site today. That's billions of dollars of capital out there. So luckily we could go from those penurious Falcon 9 Dragon days to the more expensive, capital intensive Starship and then to AI because it is next level expensive. But it feels quite doable.
You have this Anthropic deal, paying SpaceX $1.25 billion per month through May of 2029. In the amended IPO filing, added details clarifying that this could end after 6 months if decided upon. Just in terms of what investors need to know and understand about that deal and whether we could see more deals like that here.
So
that's got to be a big FU to OpenAI to help Anthropic win instead of OpenAI. Pretty genius, actually. Where Elon is leasing or renting out his data centers to Anthropic. Yeah.
Well, I see SpaceX AI. I mentioned before we're builders, right? I see us not only building the tech stack required for AI and operating the X platform, but we are builders of data centers, both here on Earth and in space. I believe we will continue to provide that capability to others, actually.
I wonder if they've moved X over into their own data centers. I know they were using like Amazon for a while. I wonder if he's moved all of X to his own data centers. That'd be interesting to find out.
We will never sell compute capacity that we actually need, which is why we wanted the ability to have these contracts be short term if necessary. But we'll keep building.
Okay. The Cursor deal as well, option to buy the company via stock after the IPO. A lot of investors out there think this is potentially a done deal, or assuming it is. What does Cursor bring to the table for SpaceX?
So Cursor has their own models, I think, and we can learn from them. They're learning. They're looking at our models. We're looking at their models.
So Cursor is a programmer's environment. I actually use this quite regularly. This is one of the tools that I use to build our apps. It's it's funny. It's kind of bastardizing a product from Microsoft. Microsoft made a programming environment called VS Code, and they gave it away for free. They basically made the one of the most superior development environments that you can get, and then they made it for free. They made it free, called VS Code. There are other IDEs. They're called IDEs, integrated development environments. But even on the commercial side, I'm not going to talk about those, but let's just suffice it to say that Microsoft made this product called VS Code, and then they made it free. They made it open source. So what happened is somebody came along, made a fork copy of it, and they added on a whole bunch of AI stuff to it, and then they started making their own data models for programming, to where this tool is like the ultimate tool for generating code. We're using AI to generate code. So that's what Cursor is. So Cursor is a product that is a fork of a Microsoft product with some really powerful, fine-tuned data models for programming behind it. And Elon has a possibility of buying it.
Models, their data set was their training data was incredibly, it was excellent. And so that's good. And we have compute. So basically it ended up being kind of another model company that we could collaborate with closely. And that's fundamentally how I would characterize it right now. We're going to collaborate closely. We think this makes a huge amount of sense, but we'll make final decisions in a few months.
In general, the approach to M&A, how should investors think about that?
God, that'd be so cool. It's kind of pricey, actually. It'd be cool if Elon bought it, because he's known for bringing the price down on those kind of things. Well, I don't know if he's known for bringing the price down. He likely would bring the price down. So you know what I've been thinking about. So this is from Terrence Williams. Is this the actor Terrence Williams? It is the actor. Comedian and founder of Cousin Tease. Is this the same Terrence I'm thinking of? Oh. Is this the one who went on Joe Rogan with all the conspiracy theory stuff? No, that's a different Terrence. That's not the same Terrence. Who am I thinking of? I think I'm thinking of a Terrence Williams also. Anyway, you know what I've been thinking about? There are far more racist people in this country than I ever realized. I have been blown away watching people celebrate the death of a white teenage boy simply because the person who killed him was black. This teenager was not on drugs. He was not a troublemaker. He had never committed a crime. He played sports, made good grades, respected his parents, and was loved by so many people. Yet some people have found joy in his death because they care more about race than right and wrong. That is not justice. That is racism, hatred, and pure evil. A teenage boy lost his life. Anyone celebrating that should be ashamed. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody celebrating that should be ashamed. Somebody pinch me. This is a video.
So DNI Tulsi Gabbard not only releasing this declassified information, she is also blasting the Biden administration for, quote, lying about the existence of such biolabs, saying this, quote, today I'm releasing never before seen intelligence revealing new evidence of past U.S. government funding for more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries, including Ukraine. Gabbard also adding that her efforts are in accordance with President Trump's executive order to end federal funding of dangerous research around the world. Watch.
Despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact that research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs can have, politicians and so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, as well as entities within the Biden administration's national security team, lied repeatedly to the American people about the existence of U.S.-funded and supported biolabs. Not only did they lie, they threatened those who attempted to expose the truth.
Boy, did they.
Of course, some experts have disputed that the Biden administration covered up the existence of such labs or their work posed any threat to the U.S. This all comes after years of media outlets calling biolab funding rumors a conspiracy or blaming rumors on Russia. Watch.
Then she parroted Russian propaganda that the U.S. is funding biolabs in Ukraine.
Much of Russia's disinformation centers around biolabs in Ukraine. The biolabs conspiracy theory.
This announcement coming just a week before Gabbard is set to leave her post on June 19th.
Very cool. Very cool, Tulsi. Very cool. I've been thinking a lot about the future of the firm in an AI-driven economy. This transition is different than any previous platform shift. In the past, we used digital systems to enhance human. It's too long. I don't want to read that. Interesting. It's not going to let me read it anyway. What is this?
After months of searching through intelligence community holdings and files, today I'm releasing new evidence of long-standing U.S. government funding of more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. Now, these biolabs include labs in places like Ukraine, which could be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, the intelligence community had previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens.
Can I just say that it's really great that all the people that Trump has picked to put in these offices are doing such an amazing job releasing this information that we've speculated about for years and years. It's a pretty awesome day and age to be seeing this kind of stuff.
And remained vulnerable to long-standing threats of Russian attack, seizure, or damage. Now, until now, evidence regarding the full existence and funding of these laboratories had been knowingly withheld from you, the American people. Many of these U.S. government-funded biolabs are currently or have previously engaged in research using hazardous and highly contagious pathogens, and in some cases included dangerous gain-of-function research with very little visibility or oversight. Now, President Trump clearly understands the serious threat dangerous gain-of-function research poses to the American people. And this is why he took decisive action over a year ago. On May 25th, 2025, he signed an executive order to end federal funding of gain-of-function research around the world. Here at ODNI, I issued new guidance to the intelligence community directing increased collection on these laboratories and facilities overseas. And we're already seeing the results of this increased collection. We're learning new details, for example, on clinical trials that are underway at these facilities and that are raising significant ethical, financial, and security concerns regarding the supposed public health initiatives and U.S. national security. Now, despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact that research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs can have, politicians and so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, as well as entities within the Biden administration's national security team, lied repeatedly to the American people about the existence of U.S.-funded and supported biolabs. Not only did they lie, they threatened those who attempted to expose the truth. So this release today breaks new ground, as the information surrounding the existence, history, locations, and funding of these U.S.-funded biolabs has been intentionally covered up by very powerful people who falsely claimed that these biolabs didn't exist. Now, they accuse anyone who says otherwise to be foreign assets and traitors to America. Now, ODNI will continue working closely with partners across the U.S. government to identify exactly where these labs are and what pathogens they contain to end dangerous gain-of-function research that threatens the health and well-being of the American people and people around the world.
Cool seeing this stuff come out. Kind of a bummer that she's resigning. A lot of people with these rapid cancers growing. Her husband has a cancer that's rapidly growing. She's resigning to help take care of him. Seems like we got to be getting close to a cure for cancer. Tunneling in 3 geologies in 3 cities: Las Vegas, Nashville, and Sandy Clay. Science is not a process, a credential, or an institution. It is an unflinching pursuit of truth carried out by the few, co-opted by the many. Nice. About 5 years ago, Elon was giving a tour of Starbase Launchpad. A worker at the site walks up, hugs him, and says, "We're going to make it." He's probably a millionaire now.
Hey, Hey, how's it going?
Let me give it to you something.
Okay.
This one. This for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
We're gonna make it.
All right, cool.
We're gonna make it.
Hey, Sam.
Hey. All right, Sam.
Thanks, Zero.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know. All right. That's freaking cool. Labor must go as soon as possible. Oh yeah, Labor Party. In Manchester, England, Muslims were loudly blasting the Quran on loudspeakers. A British woman stepped up and said, "This is England, a Christian country. I don't want to hear the Quran. I don't want to hear the Quran being recited." Just for saying that, the police handcuffed her and arrested her. So who's in charge? Who's enforcing these laws? Are you kidding me? Wow. That's from Cleese. John Cleese. Huh. Just keen amateur. They will. Far-right activist Tommy Robinson detained under terrorism legislation. Did he stab someone? Oh, man. The UK. Not someplace you want to be right now. I wonder how many people left the U.S. to go to the UK and are wishing they hadn't. From Christian Kale, they did it. SpaceX has now launched more satellites than the rest of humanity combined for all time. Within 5 years, probably 5 times as many satellites as the rest of the world. When most countries' opening remarks during their IPOs were about profit, today it hits something different. It is hope. The once inspiring future that excited us when we were young, but that we dropped after growing up, we have found it again. Hope. Very cool. SpaceX is a company whose mission is axiomatically the love of humanity, to extend the light of consciousness. Really? Yeah. Starship is a very big rocket. Wow. That is really big, isn't it? Okay. Elon Musk is a real-life Bond villain. Oh, yes, I remember that Bond film where the villain decarbonized the auto industry, brought fast internet to everyone on the planet, and helped paralyzed people interact with the world again. Yep. Ha ha ha. This is all awesome. Elon agreed to the green shoe IPO option, but only if the bankers and team all wore actually green shoes. Are you kidding me? A green shoe is a standard IPO provision that allows underwriters to sell up to 15% more shares than originally planned if demand is strong, helping stabilize the stock price in early trading. Hilarious. Pessimists sound smart. Optimists build the world. Congratulations to SpaceX team on this milestone. We were proud to serve as a lead book runner on the transaction. Looking forward to taking our exciting partnership with NVIDIA to the next level. I think this is where we left off. Yep. All right. We are done with Elon's. Now let's get into, this isn't really addressing the House of Israel. This is two witnesses stuff. So let's do Our God is a Mighty God.
Our God is a mighty God. He stands eternal and strong, with power, justice, and truth. Our God is a mighty God. Our God is a mighty He stands eternal and strong, with iron and flame. witness, every tyrant, every curse will fall. When the Messiah rises and announces the final call.
I love this song.
He splits the seas with a roar like a lion, commands the legions in celestial advance. The lightning his hammer, the thunder he wields. He vanquishes evil and makes the broken healed. Our God is a mighty God. He stands eternal and strong with wrath and glory. His voice shakes the cosmos, writing the story. Our God is a mighty
It's such a good song. I love it. All right, two witnesses. So I want to preface what we're about to watch with a reminder about the two witnesses. So, two witnesses from Revelation 11, and I will give power to my two witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days. We're on day 511 of Donald Trump and Elon Musk posting and talking consistently every single day. They clearly don't take the Sabbath off because they post on the Sabbath. So just an interesting observation. Clothed in sackcloth, even though Elon Musk is a trillionaire, he made this comment. He makes this comment that it's not like he has $1 trillion in the bank. He has ownerships in companies, but he continually reinvests every single thing that he does in order to help humanity. To me, that's very much a sackcloth thing. Like both Donald Trump and Elon Musk risk everything for mankind. I mean, like, if it weren't for Elon, we probably wouldn't know what's going on. I don't know, maybe we would. That might be an overstatement, but it would not be as out front and center. It would not be so obvious what's going on around the world, the atrocities that are taking place around the world. And really, these two men are protecting our freedoms. I have no doubt about that at all whatsoever. Like the United States right now would be the UK. Like UK and the United States would be lockstep with what's happening. The overthrow from within, basically. I'm reminded of that woman claiming this is a Christian country, and they arrest her for that. These are the two olive trees and lampstands standing before the God of the earth. And if anyone wants to harm them, fire proceeds from their mouth and devours their enemies. And if anyone wants to harm them, he must be killed in this manner. So this is what I really wanted to focus on today, is these have power to shut heaven so that no rain falls in the days of their prophecy. I've speculated on this. Like, obviously, Elon Musk and Donald Trump don't seem to be wielding fire from their mouth or, this miraculous power to stop the rain. But, they do speak with very blunt truth, which could be compared to fire from the mouth. Anyone who attempts to harm their reputation gets devoured. Anyone who attempts to kill them is killed. That seems to be true. This is something that we haven't really seen. is this any control over the weather. So that's why I think that this video that we're going to watch from Tim Pool is very interesting. And I would say this might actually be like, and honestly, I don't know if this is literal, if they have power to shut rain so that no rain falls in the days of their prophecy. I mean, if this is literal, I would expect them to be able to bring droughts and bring floods, control the weather. Otherwise, I would say this is probably figurative, like the rain of lies. But even if it's just for comedic purposes, I thought this video was interesting and worth watching. This had to do with a weather event that took place in Washington, D.C. For the 250th the 250th anniversary UFC fight. I think Tim, he does a really good job talking about this, but he makes some interesting points that I wanted to comment on also.
Night in Washington, D.C. And we had talked about it.
I think Tim has a better grasp of God than a lot of Christians. A lot of people who study he's got to be studying in his off time, because he's got a pretty good mind for God.
We are worried. Forecast said rain on Sunday. In fact, there was a rain delay. And then something happened. Jack Posobiec says, miraculously, the storm that was supposed to pass straight over D.C. splits in two and goes north and south of the city, leaving the event untouched, but with beautiful imagery. Now, the truth is, there are a lot of people that will simply say, sometimes it rains. Sometimes this is the weather pattern. When I saw the claim from Jack Posobiec, I said, there's no way it's possible. I mean, I got a post. There's a ton of posts on social media of liberals saying they're doing rain dances. They're begging for rain. They hope Donald Trump's event is stopped. So I pulled up NOAA, government weather data, and I got the recording of the weather radar. Now, what I find shows not that there was a parting. Now, Jack Posobiec does have the image from 1140 in D.C. showing two storm clouds north and south of D.C. So I said, no. I got to fact check this. Pulled up NOAA, and what did I find? A major storm heading straight to D.C. from the south, shifts to the east, completely bypassing the city and the event, leaving us only with this beautiful imagery. Now, what I can say is, in my quest to fact check, I have found a different data set that shows something slightly different, but still pretty amazing. And I got to say, Jack Posobiec's data may be correct in that the storm parts over north and south of D.C., allowing the city itself to enjoy this historic and amazing moment. But I want to say this. The first thing I will say is to everyone out there, I agree. Sometimes it rains. It's a quote from Bill Maher. In his documentary, Religulous, he said he was talking to somebody who said he believes in God because he once reached a glass out of the window and said, God, will you give me water? And it started raining, and he was surprised. And Bill Maher says, sure, but sometimes it rains. Not really a miracle. Well, the question is, does God do things that defy his own rules and creation? In which case, for the people that seek miracles in magic and like a manifestation of matter before your eyes, these are things that just don't happen within the laws of the world. But that's what people want, because that's the proof, right?
And this is really a good point. This is what I mean. Like, he's got some serious wisdom. He's got some serious wisdom in years beyond his age, that to even recognize this, that people want the magic. They want the mysticism. They don't, not everybody wants to understand the miracle. But when you think about it, all a miracle is, so like somebody who's born blind, all the miracle of receiving sight is restoring what was supposed to be there. So whether it's a rapid healing or some kind of, removal or cleansing or, whatever it is it works within the natural realm most of the time. And when people, this is the thing that's also like with magic, like people are mystified by the magic, but as soon as you see the trick and how it works, suddenly it loses its glory. It loses its power over you to like, oh, this person has the ability to cut someone in half or, pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's like once you understand how the trick works, you're like, oh. And that, I think, in a lot of cases where people like, this is why people won't accept Donald Trump and Elon Musk as the two witnesses, because they have this fantasy about who they are supposed to be and how they're supposed to behave and what they're supposed to be able to do. And they cannot filter it through what it would mean in reality. And this is what he's explaining. And I think he's spot on. This is exactly right. Like, is this a miracle that during this big event, the weather would literally split and completely go around this event? And like I said, this is the first like association with like Donald Trump or Elon Musk that I'm aware of any kind of weather control, which I just think it's funny and it's interesting, and it brings up a good topic to talk about.
But maybe there's something else. I am drawn to Watchmen. If you've read the graphic novel, which is fantastic, I do like the movie's ending a little bit better. Changing the alien to Dr. Manhattan, I can respect that. And Dr. Manhattan, he is this, for those that are not familiar, he's a scientist. He gets trapped in an experiment that vaporizes him, and he reforms himself as some kind of god. Not really a god. He's a powerful entity. He can see his own past and future. He says he has seen events so small and so short that they cannot even be said to have happened at all. He sees everything, and he is bored with life. And he says, what's the point? Why would all of this be better? He goes to Mars, and he looks at the big red barren rock, and he says to this woman, tell me how this would be made better by humans or shopping malls. But then something magic happens. He looks into her mind. He attempts to show her how he sees the world, how he sees past and future. Instead, he sees her, and he sees the history of her life. And it's truly incredible writing. I know it's fiction, but the writing, the ideas, they're powerful. He sees that this young woman was conceived of a rape. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct. She was conceived of a man and a woman, and the man had previously raped her mom, but she went back to him later. A man she had every reason to hate. She went to him, and she was with him again, and they had a child. And he says something truly amazing. Of all of the possible chain of events, of molecules colliding, of energy forming, matter, evolution, life, seemingly it all comes to a point where a woman loves a man she has every reason to hate, and in it just comes you. Something unique in the universe, something so profound and so rare and incredible. It's a miracle. And I love that writing. And I think if you think about your friends, your family, or for those with children.
That is a deep point. I don't care who you are. That is a very deep point that a miracle, like how often do you think about, there's a lot of people who are the result of, they're the result of rape and incest and terrible situations. But the reality of it is your life is a miracle. It doesn't matter how you got here. Your name was God. There's this one line from one of my favorite rabbis. God could not have had the world without you. You had to be part of his creation. And that's what I feel that he's pointing out, is that you are so special that God wanted you to be a part of his creation. And that's the part of this writing in The Watchmen.
You know that it is a miracle. The children exist. Everyone's got one. How is that a miracle? What can we expect of this event? My friends, I say, I don't know what a miracle is, but I looked at the weather and it's truly amazing. And I don't know if I would call it a miracle or more so a sign, because the storm itself is of God, is of the universe, is of the Logos. Certainly the decision to have that storm bypass Washington, D.C.
You know what I think of when I hear Tim talking about this is that in the end time, God would pour out his spirit, and you will hear old men prophesy, kids prophesying, old men dreaming dreams. It's just like his spirit is, and this is again one of the reasons why I didn't, I started the effort to actually identify false prophets, but I don't think that was the right course of action, because right now I think God is pouring out his spirit on anyone who will receive it, and that's why we hear people like Tim Pool, who's not really, he doesn't dedicate his time to studying God's word. He doesn't dedicate his time to watching prophecies be fulfilled. He knows God. He believes there's a God, seeks him out in his personal life and tries to, behave in a way that he believes is right in God's eyes. And he just loves people. Yeah.
To move or to part would still be of God and of the Logos. But me, myself, I believe in God. And I believe that there are miracles all around us. And there are things that seem to defy probability. You see it on social media when people say things like, certainly we live in a simulation, because they can't believe the astronomical odds of some of these events. But I give you this. What is this moment? I'm drawn to another piece of American literature and art, South Park. A great episode. Indeed, you may not be fans, but hear me. Kyle sees that, so Eric Cartman, not a good kid. He inherits $1 million. Just why? He's a bad person. And Kyle questions his faith. He's Jewish. He questions God, that God would give such an awful person $1 million. And he gets a hemorrhoid that threatens his life. And he is shocked. Cartman buys his own amusement park. And Kyle's like, why, God? Why do you reward him? In the end, Cartman loses everything. He ends up having to pay taxes. He gets his money taken away from him. He loses his theme park, and he's miserable for it. And Kyle is cured of his hemorrhoid when he realizes God wasn't giving Cartman a benefit. He was showing him something and then stripping it from him to bring him misery. And I don't know that God was actually doing that. Maybe he was teaching him a lesson. But that's the point I bring up here. With this story that I will show you, I will go through this, my friends, the miracle that saved UFC. Perhaps there was a point. Perhaps there was a reason. Should God have truly decided this is what would happen, he announced a storm would be coming. The left celebrates and cheers. At the very last minute, he wisps it away. And everything just looks beautiful. Completely beautiful. Those that hated this are left wanting. They're angry. The event went off without a hitch. And those that supported the event and believe in the goodness, believe in this country, saw something incredible. Let me show you this video. It's only 7 seconds long. And it's hard for me to believe it's real. So I'm just going to put that out there. But I'm going to go and say that's AI.
Yeah, it's
probably AI. But it's beautiful nonetheless. It's presumably based off of a photograph. And the White House posted this. Fight Night energy has taken over D.C. UFC Freedom 250 is almost here. It's hard to know what's real and what's not real anymore. There is a photo, though. The rainbow looks a little too strong, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know if that's real. But there was lightning south of D.C., which brings me to more beautiful images. The clouds over the sky clearing. The bright lights from the arena, absolutely beautiful in Washington, D.C. This was the threat. UFC White House weather suffers thunderstorm threat for Freedom 250. Let me see if I can, I got a bunch of these, right? Here's from r/Washington, D.C. UFC White House suffers thunderstorm threat. Doing a rain dance right now, someone said. We all are. I really appreciate the fun tag for this one. Would be a shame if lightning targets a certain person. I, a meteorologist, have never wanted to forecast to verify so much. They celebrated it. They wanted it ruined. They wanted this event ruined. Here's my question. Why? Just let people have fun. Why are they? It's a violation of the emoluments clause. It's not the first time we've had sports or special events at the White House. And again, the left had people, a trans woman get naked and dance around in the White House.
Remember that?
So Trump wants to do a sporting event for America's 250th. It's amazing.
Biden had that trans party and they were running around topless. Oh yeah, that was disgusting. And they mock Trump for such a beautiful event, to where they're, singing our national anthem with the flyover of the jets. Such a beautiful event.
Take a look at this. Jack Posobiec tweeted, "The storm the left was praying for suddenly parted just as it passed over and missed Washington, D.C. completely. How is this possible?" I saw this and I said, no way. No. So we live in the area. It rained on us. It was heavy rain. And I was worried. I was driving back. I didn't want to miss the fight. So I had to drive back home because they don't have it. I don't know. The bar I was at didn't have it. And so I went home to go watch it with the missus. And it was raining pretty heavily. And I was like, well, I hope it happens. We'll see either way. And here's the image from Jack Posobiec. And I saw this and I said, no. I am not one to simply see this tweet and presume that it's correct. Now, I trust Jack. I don't think Jack's making fake radar images. However, I said, why don't I pull up radar data from this is the NCEI, NOAA, okay, the National Centers for Environmental Information. And I have this here yesterday at 11:20. So Jack Posobiec, let me show you this. Where's Jack's tweet? He posted this yesterday at 11:40 p.m. And I said, I need proof. Well, here is the radar data from NOAA.
This is pretty funny. He thinks he catches Jack. What's the word? He thinks he catches Jack maybe modifying the radar image somehow, but then he actually finds the exact image.
June 14th at 11:20. I'm going to advance 5 minutes. Here you can see a storm has emerged in the south. It's a pretty big storm heading right for Washington, D.C. Check this out. But it starts shifting. It begins to move eastward, I should say. And it just goes right. It's incredible. It skirts the line of D.C. perfectly. This is insane. Now, I don't see the parting of the storm as Jack claimed. I just see a storm. Look at this. We go back. There it is. This giant storm heading straight up, but it goes right past D.C. Maybe I need to zoom out more, actually. No. Jack's data is different from mine. It is what it is. Oh, okay, there it is. So let's go back. Look at that. This storm that was supposed to slam into D.C. Oh, wow. How far back can we go? Look at this. Oh, my God, man. Jack is right. This is an insane thing to see.
Isn't that cool? First thing I thought of. Control over the weather. Control of the rain. Maybe Trump can maybe he doesn't know he can do it. Maybe it's just a matter of saying, hey, God, we got this event going on. Would be great if the rain didn't put a damper on it. And boom, God literally parts the weather system. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
The storm that was supposed to hit D.C., not that it parted like a great sea or anything like this, but the two large storm formations just go right past D.C., leaving it untouched. We can go back and just watch. This is the recorded data from NOAA. This is the storm I was saying I got hit with. Look at this. Wow. So we're here in the Harper's Ferry area, and I said it rained on us. This is it right here. Look at this. This storm was heading. Jack was right, completely right. I didn't zoom out far enough. Look at this. So what do we like? Is this like? Let's go back. Let's go back to 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Everyone's getting ready for the event, right? The storm is coming. Look at this. You are watching the storm head towards Washington, D.C. It is headed straight toward D.C. And watch this. As we move forward, over D.C., it dissipates. Amazing. Look at that. It literally, the storm, this is incredible. The storm literally parted. It literally parted. And look at this. This deep red just south of D.C. to give us this beautiful imagery. Wow, man. And then, of course, look at this. Look at that. Little bits. Right at the end. Right at the end. Little bits.
Wow.
Rain. But, oh my God, look at this. The storm came in and it completely missed Capitol Hill. Wow.
Yeah, and there were some videos that were coming out of there. Here, I got one right here where people were like filming like the sky. Yeah, look, isn't that a trip? Pretty cool. So I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's pretty cool. Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, that's something, you know? That's something right there. Look at that. That's insane. This was the finale. The 1 o'clock finale. Look at this. Guys, what is a miracle? I want to show you a miracle. 5 years ago, George Floyd mural struck by lightning. Struck by lightning. You remember this one? So it was a mural that had George Floyd in the middle with a crown. And they say Doppler radar showed one at 4:30 striking the side of a building, blowing out these bricks. Really something crazy. And only the George Floyd portion. Look at that. Witnesses claim lightning destroyed George.
I've had something similar like that happen. I swear it was an angel. So I was speaking with somebody on the phone, and we were discussing what to do about a business partner. And on a day that was, I don't know, it wasn't like today, but it was a pretty sunny day. It was a nice weathered day, not a cloud in sight. And I'm not making this up, but there was I have these 2 apple trees in my front yard. And this little mini tornado just came and yanked up one of my apple trees and left just enough of the roots of the apple tree still in the ground, but like ripped up the rest of the apple tree to where I ended up having to go like massively strip it down in order to save it. But it reminded me of, I believe that it was God sending an angel to send a message because we were talking about this business partner. And it was him indicating that we needed to root out this business partner because they were not deeply rooted in what we were doing. And it reminded me of that parable about the seed that falls on, some on good ground, some on, stony ground, some, they take root and they're easily rooted, that they sprout, but they're easily rooted up. So like these kind of things, it's really fascinating. More and more seeing these things lately, but I've even experienced this kind of stuff.
George Floyd mural in Ohio. Maybe it was a lie. Maybe it was a guy with a hammer. He just smashed it all up. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they were lying to us about it being a lightning strike. That's the original image. But the general reporting, witnesses said the lightning strike. Unless, maybe the community just really hated it, so they lied. My friends,
probably lightning.
I believe we see miracles every day. Yeah. And I'm going to wrap it up with a story. You may have a joke, as it were. Look at that right there. This is for the finale. The finale of the event of UFC. And the storm splits just over D.C. so that it goes off without a hitch. There's a joke. You've heard me tell it a lot because it's one of my favorites. But if you haven't heard it, don't forget it. And if you have heard it, you probably enjoy it the same as I do every time. A devout man is in his home. He's watching the TV when the news reports come on saying a dangerous storm is coming. And they're ordering an evacuation because of the flood risk. And the water is heavy and the streets are flowing when the man hears a knock on the door. And he answers, and there's a man in a raincoat saying, "We're evacuating everybody. You need to get out now." And he says, "No, I am a devout man. My Lord will save me." And the guy in the raincoat says, you can't stay here. The flood waters are rising. We need to get out now before it's too late. And he says, "I will not, because my Lord will save me." So the man leaves. The devout man closes his door and he says, Lord, please save me. But the waters keep rising. So he goes to the second floor. And now he's looking at his window as the water level is very high. And he prays, please, please, Lord. A boat pulls up and the man yells, quick, get in. We're evacuating everybody. The floodwaters are crazy. And he says, no, I believe my Lord will save me. I am a devout man. And they beg him to come, but he refuses and the boat leaves. But the waters keep rising. The man climbs onto his roof with very little space left. He prays, Lord, don't let me die here. And then all of a sudden a helicopter above his head and a ladder gets thrown down and he hears from a megaphone, take the ladder. We're getting you out of here. And he yells back, no, I prayed and my Lord will save me. And they beg him, but he refuses. He refuses to take the ladder. And the helicopter leaves. And the waters rise. And the man drowns. He finds himself at the pearly gates. And they welcome him into heaven, a devout man. And he gets to meet God. And he says, with confusion, Lord, I obeyed you, I worshiped you, and I prayed for you to save me. Why did you let me die? And God says, I sent a car, a boat, and a helicopter. You wouldn't take it. The reason why I love that joke is because what it's telling you is that miracles don't look like magic.
That's right.
The storm splitting over DC, dodging it, breaking in two, is a sign. I don't necessarily think it's a miracle because, again, the storm is of God. If God wills the storm to be over DC, then God didn't want it to happen, I guess. But to send a storm and then split it in two over DC, I say, is a sign. It got the hopes up, as I was pointing out the Cartman South Park story. The left is all giddy and cheering at their right, and then, with a flick, the storm splits, and everybody gets this beautiful imagery as they celebrate America's 250th with an amazing event. Man, this gets me going. Hope. This is one of the, I love it. This means something to me. What are the chances? Let's remove God. Let's say there's no God. Let's say to the atheists, it's just coincidence because sometimes it rains. But then I ask, with lightning striking the George Floyd mural, with a storm set for DC at 8 o'clock breaking in two and passing over it, it's possible. Of course, these things just happen. But I look at it as a sign. Because what are the chances the storm split in half like this? Remarkable. I choose to be inspired. I choose to believe.
I like that.
I see this, and in my analytical mind, I'm a schemer, right? Like the Joker said, I'm one of these guys. I've always got some plan. I'm always trying to put pieces together. But sometimes the plan is much, much greater than you. I look at this and I say, sometimes the odds just don't make sense. You know? What I can say is in the real world, they say, if I flip 5 quarters and it lands heads every time, what are the chances the next flip will come up heads? They say the gambler's fallacy is thinking tails is due. It's got to be tails. No. It's 50-50, they say. The mathematician's fallacy, they call it, is believing that these mathematic structures exist in an abstract. We're talking about a human being with a physical coin. And so the smart man, the street smart man, says, we don't exist in an abstract. Homeboy's got a weighted coin. He's cheating. Right. Indeed. Or maybe God wills it. You know, I've played many games in my day, and I've witnessed many things that seemingly defy the odds. It becomes hard to believe. You know, and I'm sure many of you have as well. This stuff's crazy. It's beautiful. I'm going to leave it there.
That was a deep, deep episode from Tim Casts, Tim Pool. Lot of really good stuff in there. Boy, that boy's got some spiritual wisdom, I tell you what. So many things in there. I love that. I love that joke. Every time the guy prayed, God send him something, but because he was expecting he was expecting a fantasy, not reality. And that joke perfectly describes a lot of people who are in denial who are not watching, who are not paying attention to the reality. This is why people think I'm absolutely crazy for saying Elon Musk and Donald Trump are the two witnesses. But that's because it's based on observation. I'm doing what our Lord told us to do. Look up, your redemption draws nigh. Watch, for if you do not watch, I will come upon you like a thief in the night. Watch, therefore, for if the good man of the house had known in what hour the thief would come, he would have watched. No man knows the day or hour. Watch. Yeah, we watch because we don't know the day or hour. But I tell you what, we're starting to see the signs because we're watching. And we're not fooled by the fantasies that people repeat to each other, looking for these things which are not supported by the scripture. You know, so many of these things have been discovered just recently. Like, you know, I too was repeating the fantasies up until I started realizing the reality. I'm not trying to elevate myself. It's just this is observation. You know, it's like these things are out there for us to see. And it's, you know, people expect a fantasy. Like the man who prays for a miracle doesn't see the car, the boat, or the helicopter as a miracle. Man, so many deep things in that show. What a great episode. You know, I don't know what to think about that. Tim's got some wisdom there. I don't know where that's coming from, if it's God pouring out his spirit and those who are willing to receive it are receiving it, or if this is just how God has raised him to be so that he could be a powerful voice for him. I don't know what to think, but I sure do appreciate it. Well, I had more to go over tonight, but we're already at 2.5 hours. We'll have to continue. We'll have to do a timeline update tomorrow. We'll look at the Wi-Fi stuff then. For now, I think we'll call it a night. That's a lot of stuff to consume. Pretty cool, though, right? I mean, like, that is, from what I can tell, the first association with Donald Trump and controlling the weather, or the weather moving around something that he was doing. Does that mean that he is controlling the rain? I don't know, but it's very interesting, and I think Tim Pool did a really good job presenting the possibility. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications. Visit us Monday through Friday at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys being here. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. Shalom, shalom.